Have you ever wandered into a place that felt alive? Not with people, but with something else, something unseen. Welcome to Rispin Mansion. Nestled in Capitola, California, this decaying structure hides more than just its neglected past. It holds whispers of the otherworldly. Built by William Allen Rispin, the mansion was meant to be a jewel of the town. But Rispin cut corners on the water and sewage systems, leading to its degradation. Over time, it passed hands and was even used as a convent until 1957. But the real stories began when it fell silent in the 70s and 80s. When the living left, the dead spoke. Imagine walking through its empty halls. The walls, peeling and broken, seemed to breathe. Then you hear it, an eerie whisper. It's faint, almost like a breeze, but it's there. You turn, convinced it's just your mind playing tricks, until you see a shadow. An unexplained figure lingering in the corner of your eye. Ghost hunters have flocked to Rispin Mansion, drawn by these stories. They've documented these whispers, these figures. Skeptics dismiss them, but those who have felt the chill, who have heard the silence speak, they know it's real. Picture this. You're alone in the mansion, the moon casting ghostly light through broken windows. The air is thick with history, with memories. As you move forward, each step echoes louder than the last. Suddenly, a cold breath brushes your ear. Leave. It whispers. You freeze. Your heart pounds. Are you alone, or is someone or something watching? This is Rispin Mansion, a haunting reminder that some places never truly belong to the living. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, one thing is certain. This mansion is alive with its own dark stories. Stories that will send shivers down your spine and make you question what lies beyond our world. So next time you walk past an old, abandoned building, remember Rispin Mansion and listen closely. You might just hear a whisper from beyond. Thanks for watching. If you're intrigued by haunted tales and ghostly whispers, hit that subscribe button and join me for more spine-tingling stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. The old house creaked around me, its wooden bones groaning with age and secrets. The air was thick with the scent of dust and something else, something intangible, like a memory trying to resurface. As I settled into my room at the Seasons B&B, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. The room was quaint, with vintage decor that seemed to whisper stories of its own. They called it a bed and breakfast, but the air was thick with something more than just history. It felt as though the walls themselves were alive, watching, waiting. The website had mentioned a few odd occurrences, but I hadn't taken it seriously. Ghost stories were just that, stories, or so I thought. That first night, I understood. The unease settled over me like a heavy blanket, and every creak and groan of the house seemed amplified in the silence. A cold spot settled over the bed, even under the heavy quilts. It was as if the warmth was being sucked out by an unseen presence. Then, a whisper, just my name, barely audible but clear as day. It sent a shiver down my spine, and I felt a chill that no amount of blankets could chase away. I tried to tell myself it was the wind, the old house, settling, anything but what I knew it was. My rational mind fought against the creeping dread. The next morning, I was having breakfast in the dining room when a teacup slid across the table, untouched. It moved with a deliberate slowness that made my heart race. The other guests seemed oblivious, but I saw the owner's face, a grim, knowing look. It was as if she had seen this all before, countless times. Later, exploring the garden, I found a small, overgrown cemetery. The gravestones were ancient, their inscriptions worn away by time and neglect. A chill ran down my spine as I walked among the graves. The air was colder here, and the silence was almost deafening. The names on the gravestones were worn, almost illegible, but something about them felt familiar. It was as if I had seen them before in a dream or a nightmare. That night, the whispers turned into a song, a mournful melody that seemed to seep from the very walls. It was hauntingly beautiful, yet filled with sorrow. The melody wrapped around me, pulling me into its depths. I felt as though I was being drawn into another world, one where the past and present collided. I packed my bags before dawn, leaving the seasons behind, but the memory of those whispers, that song, will stay with me forever. It was an experience that would haunt me for the rest of my days. So next time you book a stay at a charming old B&B, remember, some histories are meant to be left in the past. The allure of the old can sometimes hide the shadows of the forgotten, whispered. If you listen closely, you might just hear them too. The whispers of those who came before, lingering in the corners of time. The Hanford Civic Auditorium, built in 1924, a monument to a different time, it hummed with a strange energy. Not malevolent, but not peaceful either. More like an echo of something lost. The air hung heavy, thick with the weight of countless gatherings, joys and sorrows, victories and defeats, all swirling together in the cavernous space. The scent of dust and old wood filled my nostrils, a musty perfume of the past. Each footstep echoed in the silence, bouncing off the walls like whispers. I imagined the countless others who had walked these halls, their presence lingering long after they were gone. The Hanford Civic Auditorium held their stories, trapped within its aging walls. Backstage, the shadows seemed deeper, more profound. The air grew colder, raising goosebumps on my arms. A prickling sensation ran down my spine, a feeling of being watched. And then I saw him, a man in a suit, cut in the style of the 1940s. His hair was slicked back, his face a mask of concentration. He seemed to be adjusting something in the wings, his movements precise and deliberate. I blinked and he was gone, vanished into thin air. No doorway, no escape route. One moment he was there, the next he was gone. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end. I was alone, yet the sensation of being observed intensified. I hurried to the spot where the man had stood, my heart pounding in my chest. There was nothing there, no trace of him, no explanation for his sudden disappearance. The silence pressed in on me, heavy and absolute. Had I imagined it? A trick of the light? A figment of my imagination? I didn't know what to believe, but one thing was certain. The Hanford Civic Auditorium held secrets. Secrets that whispered in the shadows and vanished into thin air. I shivered, pulling my jacket tighter around me. The auditorium seemed to close in, the weight of its history pressing down on me. I needed to leave, to escape the oppressive atmosphere, but something drew me forward, deeper into the heart of the building. I found myself in the balcony, staring down at the empty stage. The plush velvet seats were coated in dust, their crimson hue faded with time. The air was thick with anticipation, as if an invisible audience awaited the start of a performance. And then I heard it, Applause. Soft at first, then growing louder, echoing through the auditorium. But the seats around me remained empty. The applause was coming from the stage, from the very air itself. A figure materialized on the stage, a woman in a flowing white gown. Her form was translucent, shimmering like heat haze. She clapped her hands, a beatific smile on her face, her eyes fixed on some unseen spectacle. Then, as quickly as she appeared, she faded away, the applause dissolving into an eerie silence. I fled the auditorium, my heart racing. I needed to escape the ghostly apparitions, the unsettling atmosphere. But as I made my way to the restrooms, another sound stopped me in my tracks. Voices coming from the men's restroom. Whispers hushed and urgent. They spoke of legal matters, of contracts and negotiations. The voices seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves, a chorus of disembodied whispers. I didn't need to see to know that the restroom was empty. The voices were not of this world, they were remnants of the past, trapped within the walls of the Hanford Civic Auditorium. I hurried past, my skin crawling with unease. The Hanford Civic Auditorium was more than just an old building. It was a repository of memories, of spirits tethered to the physical world. As I stepped out into the night, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was leaving a part of myself behind, lost among the haunting whispers of the past.